All right. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Carter Monty 16, thanks for joining. Good morning. Happy Coffee Talk Tuesday with Stark Media Group. We are now live on Instagram and Facebook. Good morning. Thanks for joining, you guys. That's my shot. That's my cover shot Kelsey gets for me. Got to get a good one. Okay. So it's raining here in the Northeast. As you know, we give everybody a few minutes to get on board. So we just do a little bit of getting to know each other, saying hello, talking about the weather, seeing what's going on. It's raining here in the Northeast, and it's going to be yucky all week, which is kind of a bummer, but we get productive, so that's good. Today we are going to be talking about Instagram stories versus your feed. It's going to be really good, and I have some visuals as well. If you guys are joining me on Instagram, be sure to join our Stark Media Facebook group, because we put everything and all of the screenshots that we use on our Facebook Live, and that information goes onto our Stark Media group blog that we'll write, and I'll write after this. So any of those graphics that I use on Facebook, you'll be able to see there. Be sure to ask us questions along the way. I'm happy to, if I can answer them, I'm happy to answer them as we are live as well. Okay. I see my Facebook is a little grainy. I apologize for that, guys. I'm sorry. It's a little grainy there. But the Instagram's doing great. So, all right, we're going to get going. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get going. So we're going to talk about Instagram feed versus Instagram stories. Hopefully you guys are all on Instagram. It's really my favorite platform. Everybody knows that. I love Instagram. I love Instagram because it not only gives you the ability to put beautiful graphics and stories and highlights and keep things either evergreen or 24 hours. It's always evolving and it's always changing, and you can DM people. I mean, I'm going to talk about that, but I love Instagram. It's really one of my favorite. How does someone start to work with Stark Media Group? How does someone start? I think that's your question. How do you start to work with us? Is that your question? You can either DM us on Instagram. You can give us a call at 631-903-4082. Send us an email. We're more than happy. And come on in our office. We give free consultations to everybody. So if you want a free consultation, you're more than happy to come on in and we talk about your business, see how we can help you or how you can help yourself, depending on your budget. We're always happy to help all businesses. So please give us a call. Okay, getting back to Instagram feed, you're very welcome. Getting back to Instagram feed versus stories. Okay, so here's the difference, okay? Your Instagram feed is evergreen. Evergreen means it stays forever, right? So when people use their Instagram feed, when businesses use their Instagram feed, they tend to be very curated content, planned out. Our feed is curated content and planned out. Oh, hello, Patricia. We actually do photo shoots for our Instagram because we have an idea of what's coming up and what we want on our Instagram. We will plan our Instagram according to any events going on. If we know that it's going to be a Valentine's Day or a world event or like social media day is coming up, we're already thinking about those things and what kind of posts we're going to put out there. So we definitely do curated and planned graphics on our feed. We represent our brand on our feed. The great thing about the feed is that, hi, thanks for joining, Jay DiCanza. The great thing about the feed is that people can discover you using hashtags. So we follow hashtags on Instagram, and that will come up in our feed. So even if somebody doesn't know about your business, but you use an appropriate hashtag for your business or your brand, somebody can find you. And that's a great part about the feed. So be sure when you're creating your feed that you are making thumb-stopping graphics. We say that all the time. So you really want to make a great graphic or a great video, something that's really going to make people want to stop and look and read, okay, on your feed. This platform is also becoming very popular for people to check out your brand. So people are tending to go to Instagram and Facebook rather than your website to check you out, because if you are doing your Instagram feed very well and you're representing your brand and you're doing curated content, they're going to get a great idea of your business. And it's very easy for them to just scroll through that and get a real idea of like how you represent yourself. So keep in mind that when you meet a potential client or customer, that they're most likely going to check out your social media platforms, and Instagram is becoming very popular for that. So be sure to do really good branded, curated content on your feed because it stays forever, okay? So that is a description of the feed. And now I'm going to give you a description of stories, and then I'm going to actually show you some graphics. So the next is your Instagram story. Now, I love stories, and we're not going to get into highlights, which stories can become highlights, which also stay evergreen on your Instagram app. We're just going to talk about stories and what we believe you should be posting and what most people are posting and the difference. So I said Instagram feed is evergreen, curated content that's planned out and represents your brand really well. Hey, Mary, thanks for joining on Facebook. When it comes to your stories, okay, stories disappear in 24 hours, right? So they're gone in 24 hours. They are vertical, graphic, or a video up to 15 seconds. So if after this, if you guys go to our Instagram story, you will see that I put on Instagram story this morning that I was going to be doing this. It tapes you for 15 seconds, but you can continue to talk, and those 15-second clips will continue to run. Okay, so they do run in 15-second clips, but you can make it longer. Don't think that you have to stop and then restart. You can continue to talk and it will continue to run. And you can put your stickers and your Giphies and all those sorts of things on those posts before you post them. So they're vertical photos or videos for 15 seconds. They disappear in 24 hours. Okay, they are displayed at the top of your Instagram app in the little circles. Now, they're not going to be displayed unless you follow someone, which is the difference from your feed, okay? If it's sponsored, it may come up, like if somebody does a sponsored post, but if somebody doesn't follow you, it's not going to come up in the stories, which is the difference from your feed, which people can find you via hashtag. So those are some differences too. IG stories are fun. And the great thing about IG stories is you don't have to be so like curated and planned out and you know, everything has to look perfect. Stories, people kind of, you know, they experiment with stories. They do it in the moment. It's really kind of fun. It's like what's happening right now, you know, and it grabs people's attention because it's going to be gone in 24 hours. So you kind of want to see what people are doing in the moment, right? I love stories, and we use stories all the time. It's a lot of fun. They encourage engagement too, because the thing about stories is you can DM someone. So if you go to our story, OCUNC, you can actually DM us from the story also if you want to talk to us. You can react to somebody's story. You can DM them from the story. It's really great because it creates you know, kind of like a friendship or an alliance. You may not know the person, but if you react to the story, they're going to probably react back to you. So it's great for creating alliances and brand ambassadors and friends and potential clients. That's why I really like it. I also like it because it's fun. Like you put in the stickers and the Giphies and you can create polls and questions and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can get super creative with your stories, and they can be really, really funny. And, you know, funny attracts people, right? They want to see that you're creative, and they want to see that, you know, your brand is human. And I think that's what IG Stories gives you also. It gives you that human side. and it gives you real authenticity. You get to know the person behind the brand. So when we do feeds, it's a picture, right? Or maybe a little bit of a video. But when you do a story like I did today, you really get to know me, and you get to know, everybody in our office. Like I took a picture yesterday of everybody in the back office. You get to put faces to the names, and you get to or know our personalities and really who's behind the brand. I think that's the great thing about stories, is the authenticity. Also, because they disappear in 24 hours, people tend to be a lot more casual on them, like we are. We're much more casual on them as well. And also, people like to experiment on them, right? I said it's not really curated content. You can just kind of do in the moment. So what do we do? Hi, Mara. Now you're on Instagram. So what do we do on our stories? Okay, this is what we do on our stories. So you'll see this morning that what I did was I went on and I was like, hey, everybody, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be on Coffee Talk Tuesday. And this is what I'm talking about. Be sure to join us, right? I'll announce whatever we're doing that day. I'll kind of show what's going on in the office, which is in the moment. If we go to a photo shoot, I love to do the behind the scenes. We actually have 2 video shoots this week, so I'm sure I'll be doing behind the scenes there. We did some branding content. We made some beautiful aprons for one of our clients, and I wanted to show those. So I took some pictures of those and showed those on IG stories. And then we went to go drop them off at the farm, and I took some pictures of the super cute farm animals, kind of like what we do in our daily life here at Stark Media Group. And you get to know basically what it's like to be with Stark Media Group for a day. It's like a day in the life of Stark Media Group, and you get to know our brand. The other great thing is, and I love this, and a lot of brands are doing this, if somebody tags you in their post, you can share that post to your story. This is great, and I highly recommend this, and we do it all the time. So something that we're doing now also to create brand alliances and brand ambassadors and reaching out and getting more followers and making friends is we will go somewhere. And if we're somewhere like today's Tuesday, right? Today's Taco Tuesday. We love Lucharitos. We tend to go down to Lucharitos or we try to get down to Lucharitos on Tuesdays. We were down there last week. We shot a picture. We were like, here we are. And all of us were, having lunch and brainstorming at Lucharitos. They created a post and they tagged us in it. And then we shared that post to our IG story. In fact, it's still there. You can go there and see that. So we're giving them a shout out. They're giving us a shout out, right? So you're creating brand alliances and brand ambassadors and friends. And, it's a great way for you to grow your followers and create trust. So if you are ever tagged in a post, be sure to share that on your story. It's super easy. You just hit that little airplane, and then you can add whatever you want around the picture if you want to make it, funny or cute or whatever. And then it's the ability, if somebody hits on that picture, it goes back to that post, right? So then they can see the company that tagged you and they can see their feed as well. So I really recommend doing that. And we do it all the time. Something else we'll do on stories too is if we get, when we get our great recommendations or somebody gives us like a great Google review or anything like that, we'll share that on stories too. And we'll kind of, toot our own horn and say, hey, somebody just gave us a great review, and we'll put that on stories as well. So, we're patting ourselves on the back, but we're showing people also that, this is what we do. People really like us. We got a great review. Not to get into highlights, but if you're going to create highlights, it has to be on a story first, just so you guys know that. We've already talked about highlights. You can go to our YouTube page and you can go to Instagram highlights and review that Coffee Talk Tuesday that we did. But if you're going to do highlights, you have to do stories first, and then they can go into your highlights, which are evergreen as well, and they stay there. So one thing that the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about stories was if you're a photographer or you're a videographer or you're somebody who does a lot of visuals and graphics, or like us, I also use an app occasionally to make my stories look really good. There's a lot of apps out there, and you can go check them all out to see what works for you and your business. I use something called Mojo, Mojo. So you'll see sometimes that my Instagram story is kind of like a little fancy. Like maybe I'll have a couple different pictures coming in, or a picture and a video, and it looks really pretty. Mojo is free, and you get certain graphics for free. I pay for Mojo, and then of course I get the pro version, and then I can get more graphics, to make it look even better. So if you want your Instagram stories to kind of look really cool sometimes, like I'll give a shout out right now to Caitlin Ferris. She's a very well-known photographer out here. And if you go to her Instagram story, you'll see that her Instagram stories are really very pretty. But this is also her brand, right? She's a photographer. She needs to show that she can make things look really, really gorgeous, and she does. And I'm sure she's using an app when she does her stories. So that's an option for you guys if you want to make your stories look really pretty, which you don't have to, because it's not really necessary on stories, but that's what I use. So now I'm going to go actually over to my Facebook, and I'm going to bring up something from social media today. They actually kind of broke it down. So I'm just going to go over it really quick. They broke down the difference between Instagram feed and with a graphic and Instagram story. So if you're on my Facebook, you'll see this. If not, go to our Stark Media Group Facebook group, and you'll see it afterwards. So in a nutshell, Instagram feed is evergreen, right? It's ideal for reach because you can find new audiences using hashtags. Posts can get discovered that way. Here's something. When people look at Instagram feed, majority of the time, they watch it with the sound off. Versus Instagram stories, 70% of people watch Instagram stories with the sound on. That's a big difference, really big difference. It's like I said, Instagram feed is curated content. It's usually planned out. It really represents your brand, and it's your face of the company. So make sure when you are putting something on your feed, it looks really good. And it really represents your because people are going to be looking at this with the potential to hire you, okay? And it's more established. Like a lot of brands have built a strategy. We build a strategy around our Instagram as well. We plan it out a month and ahead. We see what's coming up. Think about your brand. Think about your company and how any events that are coming up could be related to your company, and how you can create a graphic or something where you can use a hashtag that is appropriate for your company and be an eye grabber. Versus Instagram stories. And in a nutshell, fleeting, right? They're gone in 24 hours. They're ideal for engagement, right? Because existing audiences can engage with you. They can DM you. It encourages engagement. It really does. Like, we talk to people on Instagram stories all the time. 70% of IG stories are watched with sound. So think about that. When you're going to do an IG story, talk on there. Have something. Have music. Have anything. Because people are listening to it with sound on. Off the cuff, really, it's not planned. It's not curated. It's in the moment. That's the great thing about it. It's a great place to check in, to let people know what you're doing right then and there. It's a great place to be authentic. Let people get to know you and your brand. Okay, you don't have to be so perfect on IG stories. It's really about authenticity. Show the real you. It'll be great. And there's a lot of room for experimentation on IG stories, and that's the great thing. Nobody's really judging it, right? It's like, oh, okay, this is this person. So you can have fun with IG stories. All right, guys. That is it for Coffee Talk Tuesday today. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You know this. All of our, hey, Cortland, hashtag Stories Rock, they do. Abby, thanks for joining. So all of this will be on our YouTube. We repurpose it on our YouTube, and that's another great thing. Always repurpose your content. Also go to our Stark Media Facebook group, our private Facebook group, and you will see everything that I put on Facebook. We do have a class coming up at Miller Business Center on July 30th. We will be posting about that. That's actually going to be a 3-hour course on Instagram. So Kelsey's going to really deep dive on Instagram. If you guys really want to know how to get your claws into it and really, really do a great job, or if you're not quite sure about it, come to the Miller Business Center. We will be posting about it and giving you guys more information. All right. Any questions, comments? You know, you want to, hopefully you give us a shout out. We're looking forward to meeting with you, OCUNC, and meeting with you. And you guys have a great day, all right? Have a great week, and let us know if you have any questions regarding this Coffee Talk Tuesday. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.